back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. In this week's video, I'm down in my local woodland, and I've come down here just to take some woodland shots, but as I was passing, I just thought I'd pop into the bird hide here and just see if we could get some images of any birds and any little squirrels and stuff that are hanging around here. So I'm just going to spend like 15-20 minutes here just to try and capture some of those, see if we can get anything interesting. There is some bird feeders and things set up here, so it's attracting some birds down here. And yeah, if I get any nice shots, I'll put them on screen for you. But once I've done here, I'm going to go into the woodland and try and get some nice woodland images. It's quite challenging trying to capture those birds. It is quite addictive wildlife photography, and once you get into it, you kind of you can't stop until you've got that image. So I'm going to keep walking around now, and then if I come up with some more images, I'll get them on screen. Like I say, we're making our way up to the woodland now, where we're going to shoot this woodland photography. But it's quite fun just to try and capture some of the wildlife and have a go at wildlife photography. It is quite addictive, like I say. Yeah, so we're going to head on now and keep going. Okay, so it's back onto the task now, and back onto this woodland photography. I've just spent an hour walking around that lake a couple of times just trying to get some bird photography done. It's really addictive, and you know, once you start, you can't really stop until you get what you want. So I'll put some images on screen for you. You might have seen them already, the shots that I've got. But yeah, I'm just going to head on now down into the woodland here, and it's been a few years since I've been to this woodland, and as you can see, it's looking pretty desolated, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if that's to do with the storms that we've had over the last 12 months, but quite a lot of big trees that have been uprooted here, as you can see by this root ball, and they've started to plant some new ones. So I'm not sure if it is from the storms or whether it is like a planned sort of restoration or rejuvenation of the woodland. But yeah, it's looking pretty sparse really. This used to be all full of trees here in this bit, and like I say, it's all been decimated. But looking at some of the trees there that are bending over and stuff like that, and like I say, got this big root ball here that's been uprooted. Yeah, it's looking really different. So hopefully it's not like this all the way down, otherwise it's going to be a struggle to get some compositions. But we'll see what we can come up with anyway. And yeah, further down it's looking quite nice now as well. Sun's coming out, so we're getting some nice light through the trees, so it's creating some nice shadows and side light on the trees, so it should look quite interesting once we find something. So we'll just continue on now and see what we can find. So just bumped into a couple there, and I was speaking to them about the woodland and saying how sparse and different it looked. And they were saying apparently it's larch disease. It's quite prone for it around here, so they've had to chop down a load of larches and the rhododendrons, which will kind of like harbouring the disease. We've cut all that back as well, so it was a big effort to try and clear it and get it disease free. So that's why it's so different. So yeah, it just goes to show that if you don't come to somewhere for a while, it can change, and you need to try and capture it while you can, while it's still there. So yeah, let's keep going then and see what we can find. Pretty sure that these are the old rhododendrons and all these roots here. Apparently they have a big machine in here sort of churning it all up and cutting it all back, trying to get rid of the disease, because the rhododendrons were kind of like harbouring the disease for the larch trees themselves, so that's why it was spreading. So they've tried to clear all these out, and as you can see, they've totally decimated this area and dug it all up. But they are planting new trees, and it's kind of rejuvenating the woodland. And I suppose that's all you can do really once the disease gets in, kind of like strip it back and start again. It's certainly different here anyway. I think we're going to struggle for compositions, but I don't know. It's really different. I can't believe how different it is, to be honest with you. So hopefully up here should be a little bit clearer, because they didn't used to have all these rhododendrons up there. It was kind of like a bit more open woodland, and hopefully when we get up there it should be something a bit different. Okay, so I've made it up the woodland path here, and well, I say woodland path, it's not much of a path through the woodland as it's been totally decimated. Obviously they've had to try and chop down all the trees to get rid of this larch disease, and they're planting new resistant trees, and hopefully that'll grow up and sort of regenerate the woodland. But yeah, I can't honestly believe how much it's changed just in the last couple of years since I've been. But it's making it quite difficult to come up with compositions. It's not the sort of thing I had in mind when you get that sort of vision as you sort of drive to a location of what you're going to shoot, and then you come up with something that's totally different. Here it's kind of like a, you know, it's like a bomb's gone off and completely flattened all the trees. But trying to make the most of it. I found these sort of fallen trees here that are kind of providing some sort of leading lines through the scene up to these sort of area where there's sort of new trees planted. So it's kind of describing the scene of what it is now, and it's quite an interesting image. It's got the obviously the fallen trees and the new generation behind, so it's sort of telling a story of the location at the moment as it is. So it is relevant, and is you know, it is an interesting shot. It's just a matter of coming up with different compositions and having a look around, being creative, and trying some different shots. So I'll show you on the back of the camera what I've got set up there. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've got like the trees here all pointed in the same direction, leading up to this sort of coppice of trees at the back, and the new trees that are planted here in the sort of mid-ground there. So it's kind of explaining how it is now in this woodland. So yeah, I'll put that on screen for you. I'm going to make my way further up into the path here and just see what it's like around the corner. I have to just keep looking out and getting creative. Okay, so I finally come up with a composition that I'm happy with, and I'm quite pleased about that. It's been really challenging in this woodland. It's changed a lot since I was last here, and the devastation, and it's totally changed basically everything that I shot before, all the compositions I had in mind. So it just goes to show that when you come to a location, you shouldn't really have you know, be dead set on the ideas in your mind, because you know, things change and it might be different when you get there. So it's good to come up with that sort of new ideas. But anyway, I found this composition of the gate here, like I say, in the wall. The two silver birches there, they kind of caught my eye when I was walking up, and I like the path leading down here. And there's also like a little sculpture or something through the gate there. I'll just show you that. It's like a shell or something. I'm not sure if you can see that in the shadow there, but and again, just leading through to more of the desolation there. But I think it makes a really nice composition, this. So I'm going to take the shot now, and hopefully a little bit of processing. I mean, this will be one to return to if there's any fog or anything. That'll look quite nice with fog, or if there's any like snowfall. I think this will look really nice if the path was all covered in snow, or if there was like fog behind, sort of like, you know, separating the background from the gate itself. That'll look really nice as well. So I'm going to take this shot now, and then I'm also going to try a little bit of ICM here. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at this ICM now. I'm going to keep that same composition that you've just seen on screen there. I've got the first silver birch there just in the sort of centre of the image, and as the shot's taken, I'm going to zoom in and zoom out. I'm going to obviously take different ones, try zoom in, try zoom out, and just see what effect it produces. Now the first image that you saw there were quite a fast shutter speed, because it is quite bright now. So to try and extend the shutter speed, I bumped the aperture up to f22, and that's giving me about 3/4 of a second of an exposure. So I think that'll be long enough to try and get some streaking in the image, or whatever the effect will be that it'll produce. Well, that was quite challenging to talk on camera and get that done, but yeah, I think we'll just have a quick look at that now and see what we have. Quite a few there, took about 4 or 5. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that one actually. That looks quite nice. That's something a bit different. I'll just show you that on the back of the camera. So you can kind of see the trees in the middle there kind of kept the form a little bit, and you can still see that it's a gate and a wall there. And obviously zooming into that, or zooming out, whichever one it was. But yeah, I think it's quite a nice effect. I'm quite happy with that. I'm not over keen on ICM normally, but I think this is quite nice, this zooming in and out. I might try a few more of them just while I'm stood here. But yeah, if I get any different ones, I'll put them on screen for you. But I think that'll be the main one, to be honest with you. That's looking quite nice. And then as we move through the woodland there, we'll have a look at doing some different techniques, maybe moving the camera up and down, left and right, twisting it, all that kind of thing. See how we go handheld. But yeah, that's quite good. I'm quite pleased with that, so that looks pretty good. So let me know down in the comments what you think. It is a different technique, and like I say, I'm not overly keen on it normally, but I think if I get into it a little bit more, I'll kind of create stuff that I like. So yeah, I'll see what else we can come up with. Okay, so I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's video. It's been interesting to get out and explore this woodland. Like I said, I can't believe how much it's changed since I was last here a couple of years ago. And I think it totally throws you when you come out with a set composition in mind and the situation changes and you got to kind of think on the spot. It's quite good and quite challenging just to try something different and come up with different compositions and work the scene that you've got in front of you rather than going off the sort of presets that you've got in your mind already. So just makes it a little bit more fun, sort of develops your skills as well. So really enjoyed that. It was good to try that ICM as well. I think the zoom in and out shot looks pretty good. Didn't really get a chance to do any sort of handheld movements. As you can see now, the sun's out and it's really bright, so just wasn't getting the shutter speeds that I needed to get the movement, you know. So bring out the filters next time, or come when it's a little bit dull, or you know, just before sunset or just after sunrise when it's a little bit darker. I think that would be ideal. So yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and leave a comment down below. It's always good to hear from you guys. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So until the next time, bye for now.